Hey everybody, welcome back to the Crypto Coffee channel. Good to see all you guys in the comments and in the chat. I'm here with Crypto7. You probably know him as a prominent HEX YouTuber. He's been doing it for a while now. And today we're going to talk about what you're probably all thinking about. What the heck is the Fed up to? Are they going to dump my bags? Like, are they going to kill my bags, or what are they doing? What are they up to over there? And are we in a bull market or a bear market? Really, that's just the most confusing part of all this. But more importantly, does it even matter? I mean, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. And if it does that mean number go up or number go down? There's so many things open to interpretation. Crypto7's got an interesting take on things, so I just wanted to introduce him. You want to, for people that don't know you, just give a quick intro?
Hi, thanks so much. Yeah, so I'm a content creator from the UK, and I'm a big fan of yours. I've been watching your content for a while now, and so that's been really good. It's been a real thrill. In fact, funnily enough, I've been onboarding a couple of the kids. I call anyone under 30 a kid. I've been onboarding a couple of the kids from the coffee shop into PulseX, and one of them said, "Hey, I was listening to Crypto Coffee last night." I said, "Well, you won't believe this, but I've actually got the privilege of talking to Crypto Coffee later today. So there you go, mate, you're famous."
It's good to know. I don't know if I want to be famous, but hey, I'm glad people are watching.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, the message is spreading, and you're doing the job. I know that's what you're there for. You want to disseminate the message rather than be famous, of course. That's right.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Especially, you don't want to be famous with the tax man, do you?
Not at all. Not at all.
But I'm warming up now.
Yeah, well, luckily for me,
yeah, brilliant.
Private keys in a boating accident, so we are all
lost in a boating accident. Yeah. I think our boats must have crashed into each other because
that was you. Yeah,
that was me. Yeah. I lost all my Legend Nano S's over the side.
Right. Don't drink and drive, guys.
Brilliant.
Anyway, we are here to talk about kind of a difference in opinion and what a lot of people, myself included, aren't really fully sure about yet. I made a video, talking about the fact that I think we're in a kind of an inflection point in the market. The Fed is causing all kinds of fear and panic, which I think is priced in like really quickly. And I'm skeptical of that bearish sentiment will continue. I kind of think the market's priced it in very quickly. And if the Fed can raise rates in a very slow and predictable manner, then people are anticipating it, and maybe it won't cause this recession or bear market that we're anticipating, and that would be good for speculative assets like crypto to continue to fly. But also, if we do end up in a bear market, I think that's a great thing. HEX launched in the bottom of a bear market. Look what it did, in December 2nd, 2019. Wasn't the absolute bottom, but it did really, really well. So that's my stance on launching, right? So because of the fact that HEX launched in the bottom of a bear market, there's nothing but upside potential for it to capture, almost like a leveraged play on Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think it's best if PulseChain launches at least when Bitcoin and Ethereum are losing some steam. And you don't seem to agree. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I agree with your initial take about how I think that the markets will be starting to price these rate rises in. We're not going to wait 3 months or whenever these rate rises come in on the States and suddenly all the markets are going to crash. So they've now, if they didn't know about it in December, because they always know about it before we do anyway. So if they didn't know about it in December, they definitely know about it now, dude. So I'm very much in agreement with you on that. I think it's baked in. So I'm also in agreement with you because whether we're going to debate whether we're in a bull market or a bear market, I think, but whether we are in a bull or even assuming we're in a bear market, prices don't just go down and down and down without any relief rallies. And we haven't had a relief rally or dead cat bounce yet. So I'm at least waiting for that. And I think we will bounce off 40K. I think 40K is going to hold, or we'll wick down to just below 40K, and then we're going to see a nice relief rally. And I don't mean some of these feeble little bounces of few percent we've been getting. I mean a proper sort of, I see Bitcoin bouncing back over 50K, or at least to 50K. And so that's a good point then to try and work out whether we are in a bull market or a bear market. I've got a number of different cryptos, but I'm all in on PulseX. Which is another, so you can see I do have other cryptos, but I'm all in on PulseX. Big believer in Richard Hart's project. I'm also in on HEX, and I'm also in on PLS. So that's another thing that we very much agree on. But I'd started doing some work on my next video, which is going to be about how I think that my fellow content creators are underestimating the significance of whether PulseX launches in a bull market or a bear market for the first year return on investment. I think it's going to make a profound difference. I was listening to the two main guys I listened to are your good self and also K4K, who I think's come on the scene recently, has got some really good content. So I was listening to him and very much in agreement, but with 99.9% of the things he says. But something he said was he seemed to be sort of underestimating the significance of whether for the price appreciation, whether or not we launched in a bull or a bear market. He seemed to sort of downplay it, but I think it's going to make an enormous difference. And then I was listening to you last night while I was doing this video, preparing for this video, and you seem to think that we're best off launching in the bottom of a bear market, but I think we're best off launching at the top of a bull market, near the top of a bull market. And I've got some simple analogies for why.
Well, to me, that doesn't make sense because, you know, if you're at the top of the bull market, that's when all the money is already in. You know, people don't want to speculate anymore. They're going to sell coins off. You enter a risk-off environment. People want to go back to cash and things that are more stable. Crypto is going to be one of the first things they sell. You know, it's not really the safe haven asset. There is the novelty factor, the fact that Pulse is new or will be new. And I know it's possible for things to pump in a bull market. I mean, let's take EOS, for example. EOS did a 42x, and that was over the time of late 2017 into 2018. It did that, but I think it would have done much more if it launched in the bottom of a bear market. So I think it was suppressed even by the novelty factor, or even having the novelty factor. And I think that you know, we saw HEX, like I said earlier, we saw HEX launch on December 2nd, 2019. Bitcoin was about $7,000. So it got to capture all of that upside potential along with the greater crypto market. Now, that said, the effect, in my opinion, of the greater macro conditions is minimized by the amount of insulation that the ecosystem of HEX and PulseChain can provide, due to, you know, liquidity pairings, you know, primarily being in USD and things like that. You know, I've talked about Hart's Law, and we all know about this concept, I think. But you know, the more infrastructure we can build in terms of fiat on-ramps, ease of use, and getting away from being bogged down and tied to the rest of crypto, the less these macro conditions actually matter.
Okay, that's why I wanted to jump on, because we can jump on and just agree with each other and just brush each other's shoulders and say how nice each other are, or we can sort of actually debate different angles. And I think that'll be really useful for your viewers. And the reason this is important, if your viewers are wondering, is because I'm saying that it's going to make an enormous difference. It's going to make a profound difference, guys, to how much money we make, whether we launch in a bull or a bear. And I'm saying that the bull market is going to continue in 2022. And therefore, we are going to launch in a bull market. And I'm saying that launching in a bull market is much better for our profit making, certainly for our first 6 months to 12 months return. Yeah. So on my channel, Crypto 7, I'm saying that we're going to see a 150x in the first 12 months. But I'm also now saying, and in the subsequent video which I'm doing, but I'm giving an exclusive to Crypto Coffee here now, I'm saying that if we're in a bear market, you can probably more than half that. I think I would be lucky to see 30x in the first 12 months. But if we are in a bull market, then I think we're going to easily see 150x, guys. Now, the analogy I'm going to give to you, I'll just give you my analogy, okay? So towards the end of a bull market, okay, people have got their pockets stuffed with dollars. And they got their pockets stuffed with dollars from things like this. Yeah, can you see that? And Solana and my T-shirts just says Sandbox on it.
Oh, yeah.
Solana and Matic and Luna and Cosmos and all these things. So they're going to have loads of money, and then a new cryptocurrency is going to come on the scene. One that's been built by the architect of HEX, which was the best performing crypto over the period of 2 years, whatever. And they're going to say, right, what am I going to do with all this money? I'll stop wasting it on monkey NFTs, which is something we agree on. And I'm going to buy up on this crypto. So they're going to have loads of money. So towards the end of a bull market, everyone, our pockets are going to be stuffed with dollars, and we're going to be ready to spend. We're going to be ready to spend big time. But in a bear market, and particularly in the bottom of a bear market, which is where you're saying, Crypto Coffee, our pockets are going to be empty. We're not going to have any money to spend. And so I'm saying that that's the worst time for us to launch a new cryptocurrency. And only one of us can be right. So K4K saying it's not going to make any difference. My friend here, Crypto Coffee, saying we should be launching at the bottom of a bear for maximum returns. And I'm saying, no way, that's not right. Here in the UK, we're saying you got to launch at the top of a bull market when our pockets are stuffed with money, guys. Yeah, and we've got loads of money to spend on stupid things like NFTs. And then what we're going to spend our money on? We're going to spend it on Richard Hart's amazing decentralized exchange, which is PulseX.
Well, I guess that really comes down to how much time you think is left in the bull market. So
yeah,
I think we still are, right? And this is confirmed, and we slosh around between 30K and 60K for another year. Yeah, that would be great. That would be totally ideal if we could do a little bit of a sideways type of move, because really, I mean, that's what's been happening all of 2021. Bitcoin hasn't been doing much, and it's allowed altcoins to take off, enormously. Whether or not people
which is correct. Which for us to be in an extended cycle, for us to go well into 22 and possibly into 2023, it makes perfect sense. Not only does it make sense, but it was necessary for Bitcoin to not do very much, as you correctly say, Crypto Coffee, so that now it can go on to greater things. Also, the data suggests that we are seeing extended cycles, and also It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Because as markets mature, they extend because we get more grown-ups in the room.
Exactly, and I would love that to be the case. I've always wanted the bull market to last all of 2022. I foresee, if anything, a bear market happening in 2023. Although I was just trying to prepare, the audience for the idea of a bear market, because we can't have a crystal ball. We don't know if it's going to come next month or 1 year from now. It does seem most likely, due to the expanding cycle theory and all that, that it might be more likely to come late in 2022.
I think it's great that you prepare people, and I think that's absolutely right. Better that they prepare for the worst. But I'm giving another angle, and why that's important is because then we can decide how we want to plan, whether or not we stay in crypto, whether we get some out, or whether or not we're in a bull bear. Makes a big difference. In the long run, it doesn't make a lot of difference. We're both in agreement that PulseX is going to do really, really well. But if somebody asks me, and that's what everyone wants to know from me, how PulseX is going to do in the first 12 months. And a lot of people ask me how it's going to do in the first week, quite frankly. But I think that whether or not everyone's got bulging pockets from all the Solana and Luna profits they've made, or whether or not that they bled to death in a bear market, is going to make a massive difference to how willing they are to take a punt on a new crypto.
Yeah, so that's all well and good if you think that the price is going to go up based on the people already in crypto. But I think prices pump much more due to onboarding new people from outside of the ecosystem. So I guess in your premise, yeah, we could see some more pumpage if the bull market rather does continue with all these people funneling their profits from one coin into this novel, shiny new thing. But the question
that's
is,
right, man, because that's right, man. Sorry to jump in, but people only come in towards the end of a cycle. So they're coming in now, or they were coming in a few weeks ago. We know we've scared quite a few off lately. But they come in at the end of a bull market. And this is the thing. They don't come in at all at the beginning of a bull market. The beginning of a bull market is driven by the institutions, the Michael Saylors, who are quietly doing their over-the-counter purchases, hoping that none of us normal people notice, and the price is just quietly going up and nobody's noticing because the media's not talking, etc., etc. So all the new people, they come in. It's always the way they come in the last 10% of the
that's where all the opportunity is. Wouldn't you want to get in when the institutions got in as well? Because then you could ride the wave up with all them before anybody even noticed.
I want to get in at the beginning, but everyone wants to buy green. Everyone gets in when the media are talking about it. Yeah? CNN are talking about Bitcoin price, and BBC. That's when people get in, isn't it? That's when normal people get in. So I think
like normal people create the tops, and so we might have a short run up of maybe we get 6 to 12 more months out of this, expanding cycles and all that. We're lucky, but then we're only able to capture, the later half of the bull market. When ideally, if you could, for example, do this cycle over again, wouldn't you rather launch PulseChain when Bitcoin was $3,000? Because then if you plan on holding for 2 years or 3 years, at least you get to capture all the run up of the new money funneling in. It doesn't matter if the
I think that's an you make a good point, and that's an interesting point. I think the answer is probably if you're looking to cash out in if your payday's in 4 years' time, then probably it might be better to do that. But if you were looking to take some profit off the table to pay for the kids' education or the new Ferrari or whatever, then maybe I think it's much better to be launching towards the end of a bull market when you get to the euphoria phase, because every market has got the cycles and you've got the different stages. So towards the end of a bull market, obviously that's where you get thrill and that's where you get euphoria. And that's where people tell you about this PLSX and people want to buy it.
Well, if you're looking
Whereas
to get your
in the
100x
early stages,
if you're looking to get your 100x in less than 6 months, then maybe, yeah, you want to get in at when everything goes parabolic and everyone's at peak mania, right? But if you're looking at this as a long-term hold, like I've always warned people to do, not only for capital gains tax purposes, but just because, holding things longer allows you more opportunity to accrue value. And that's really the only way people win in crypto.
No, that's a good point. Okay, you're helping me to see my thinking more clearly. So what I'm saying, right, is if we are still in a bull market, okay, and everyone's got their pockets stuffed with dollars, and we launch this amazing DEX called PLSX, then it's an absolute cert that we're going to get that 100x, and we're going to get it quite quickly. If, however, we launch at the beginning of a bear market, then it's much less certain what might happen, because 2 years is a long time in crypto. And what happens if there's other things are launched which do the job just as well or better, or other people think, oh, that was a brilliant idea, Richard Hart, doing this quartet of cryptocurrencies and having this ecosystem of self-sustaining, etc. But what happens if some couple of other people copy that in the 2 years? So we won't have that first to market. So I think
people have tried. People will try. You've seen copycats come and go, or at least I have. First mover advantage is something that really is hard to argue with. And I mean, if you know what's going on behind the scenes in PulseChain and the ecosystem, we're creating a parallel financial structure to the existing paradigm. I mean, HEX, PulseChain, PulseX, I'm not sure if you're, a diehard fanatic like all of us are, but a lot of us in the chat and maybe from the channel that are watching, we realize all the stuff going on behind the scenes. It really is paradigm shifting, which is why, bull or bear market doesn't even matter so much to me. It matters how hard we can work as a community to decouple.
Yeah, Crypto Coffee do. Just because I'm disagreeing with you, don't challenge whether I'm a fan of PLSX. I've just put 10K into the sacrifice, which is a fortune for me. It's it's my kid's inheritance, and I am a massive fan of Richard Hart, and I'm a massive fan of PLSX. But I'm saying that if we are in a bull market, when everyone's pockets are stuffed with dollars, we're going to do a lot better. We're going to get guaranteed instant fast return. But if we're in a bear market, because for instance, another thing, what you tend to see at the beginning, at the early days, is people will invest into the safe places like Bitcoin, and you saw, for instance, Cardano led the field. It was a racehorse in the early stages of the bull market. It seems like an eternity ago because it was 18 months ago. 18 months ago, ADA was crushing everything. And now you can't find anyone who'll say a nice word about ADA. And that just shows how long 18 months is. And so what I'm saying is, I really hope that we're not launching PLSX at the bottom of a bear market, because people might decide that people's attention might go on to other things. I think it's much better.
We don't want those people. We don't want those short-term thinkers in the ecosystem. We want solid long-term holders, and we want to teach that mindset to other people as well. So I mean, yeah, there are a bunch of people that will jump ship after a few months, and they can't fathom holding anything longer than a couple of weeks to a month. That's the wrong way to look at things in crypto, and that's what Pulse is trying to unlearn and unteach everybody. And so,
this is a good debate.
Yeah, it is. I'm like
this is a good debate, but I disagree with you again there, because I think if we want this virality that I hear the Hexicans talk about all the time, I've got HEX and I'm underwater in HEX, by the way, but I'm not worried. I'm going to stay in it. I've got that long-term thinking. But if we want that virality, we want everyone in. We don't just want people in who who are only in Richard's amazing quartet or trio, soon to be quartet cryptocurrencies. We want everyone in. So I just think, and we want. Look, I just think that we're going to do a lot better launching into a bull market. K4K thinks it's going to make no difference whether we launch into a bull or a bear, and you seem to think we're better off launching into a bear. So those are three very different opinions, and only one of us can be right.
Let's say we launch right now, right? And let's say hypothetically the top comes in October of 2022. Well, what happens after that? Like what happens when it's nothing but downside for a year, possibly more? All those holders, yeah, they might have gotten their 7 months of profit, but maybe 6 months of profit. Let's say Pulse launches 2 months from now, and then they have to hold it all the way down, right? And then they have to experience. A lot of these people have to experience their first bear market ever. A lot of these people that are new, they haven't experienced a negative 80% drop before. So
in that time, then crypto coffee, we get the network effect. We get that first mover advantage that you cleverly talked about. Okay. And we establish ourselves and we get lots of PLSX t-shirts. I can't find anyone in the UK selling PLSX t-shirts, or I'll be wearing one today. We'll have lots of people wearing those and lots of people telling their friends about it. So I think it's much better if we make hay while the sun shines. We're much better to get that first mover advantage. We're much better launching into a bull market, which I think we are going to be. As I say, I think we're in extended cycles. I think that the bull market will continue. It's my belief that when China banned citizens having any cryptocurrency at all, they gave them a deadline, I think, to the end of the year before they had to dispose of it. And they would have been watching, the Chinese would have been watching BitBoy saying, hey, we're going to 150K by December. So they're thinking, well, okay, so before I get my hands chopped off, I'm going to keep my Bitcoin until December then. Well, their time's run out. They've got to have sold. So I think a lot of this selling...
Chinese are listening to BitBoy, man. I don't think the Chinese are giving any credibility to people like that.
No, but what I'm saying is factually backed up in the data. If you look in the on-chain metrics, there's been massive selling in Asia. So they have had this deadline. That's a fact. End of year. Okay, dude. And they have been selling, but now we've had that. And as you say, I think Omicron is a nothing burger. I think that's going to blow over. The rates, I think the market, which you correctly said, I think the market's adjusted to that already. I just think, don't you? Where else are they going to put their money? I mean, long-term cryptocurrency is going to be solid, but I'm saying I think, because I don't know, I think we're still in the bull market. I think 22 is going to be good, and I'm saying I'm sure, guys, that if our pockets are stuffed with dollars, that PLSX is going to do much better than if we're in a bear.
Look, you're right. Yeah, right now, given the sentiment of everything, people would put their money into Pulse. It would funnel a lot of money into Pulse until the bull market ends, until the music stops, essentially. And then what? Then they have to hold all the way back down. So would you rather capture the last 6 months to a year of the bull market, or would you rather launch in an environment where there's much more time for upside potential? And let's say we're in like the 1999 2000 era for the internet bubble, for example. Wouldn't you be much better off launching in 2001 and then have the opportunity to take off like Amazon, rather than launch 2 years before and then have to do that giant dip? And yeah, these things are all going to survive. These are going to be all very long-term plays. I'm just saying the play with less pain for new people would probably be bottom of the bear market. But all this said, I guess this almost aligns with K4K's point. The more that we can insulate ourselves and build the infrastructure we need, the less any of this bull or bear market discussion matters, because we can decorrelate and decouple from the greater conditions.
Yeah, the problem with your example is that it's actually all the you're talking about dollar investment, and I'm talking about people. I'm talking about human beings, and all the human beings come in at the end of a cycle. So we're giving an opportunity for people to be buying PLSX when we're in a bull market, when everyone's talking about it, when CNN are saying, oh, look, Bitcoin's 75K now, and the BBC is saying the same. That's when we get lots of participants. And sure, they might lose some, but hopefully they will take on the mindset that we have of holding.
I don't think a lot of new people are getting in right now. I mean, it costs an arm and a leg if you want to get into Ethereum, and just for the gas fees alone, it's stopping a lot of new participants. So I think what you're seeing is a lot of whale games. They're pumping altcoins. The greater Bitcoin and Ethereum are staying a little stagnant, and money is sloshing around to altcoins. So maybe we're gearing up for the last leg of a bull cycle. And it's becoming longer, right?
I think you're right. I very much agree. I think the gas fees have gone down a bit, haven't they? Because I know I've been sacrificing for a few people I've onboarded. I'm very good at onboarding people to crypto, and I've been doing that. And I was like, and I've been saying, keep a lot for. Oh, well, that's not too bad. So it's only a few dollars to sacrifice fair amount of money for PLSX at the moment. So that was good. I think we're in a short-term bearish trend within a bigger bull market, which is, I think, something that you're leaning towards as well.
Well, that's what I want, right? That's hopium, right? So I have to prepare for both scenarios mentally, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just letting other people know what I think. I've always thought if you watch some of my earlier videos, that Bitcoin tops in October of 2022 at about $76,000. That's my prediction for the year. Whether or not it gets that close, whether or not it even makes a top is coming more and more into question as we approach that date. There's less opportunity for volatility that can happen. And I'm just saying that I just don't think that, you know, launching Pulse near the top is ever a good idea. I mean,
and I did, yeah, and
if it happened,
but isn't that the fascinating
it's
thing?
also not the end of the world if it does, because like if we can get these fiat on ramps figured out and these ways to onboard people and decouple and not even be associated with the terrible user experience of the rest of crypto, then we can do our own thing, so to speak. We can just have our own party.
But it doesn't matter which one of us is right, other than, isn't it fascinating that we've got these polar opposite views on this, diametrically opposed. Now, I think that's really interesting, and I think it's going to make a huge difference. By the way, we're very close on when we think the top of the market might be. I also think around October, and we're very close on the all-time high, because I believe that I'm big on sentiment analysis, and I believe that 100K is going to be a huge psychological glass ceiling for people. Nobody's going to buy Bitcoin at 100K. Everyone's going to think, oh, that's far too expensive. Nobody gets it. There's 100 million. Nobody gets it. There's 100 million Satoshis in a Bitcoin. Nobody gets that, because we don't have anyone representing Bitcoin properly. Richard Hart represents HEX, and we all represent HEX and Pulse and PulseX, but nobody's representing Bitcoin properly. Nobody gets still that there's 100 million Satoshis in a Bitcoin. So I think that there's no way we're getting past 100K. And nobody's going to be coming in with new money then. So I think, but I think we'll go higher than 69. And of course, if we go a little bit higher than 69, all the other alts are going to pop. And then they're going to look around and they're going to go, hey, this PulseX is doing well. And they're going to put money into PulseX. It's just, if you go shopping with your girlfriend, yeah, and you've got loads of money in your pocket, you're going to buy things, aren't you? And it's just the same thing. So if we launch this PulseX product, or it's like, you know, launching a new sports car or something when the market's booming, you're just going to sell more of them. And that's basically what I'm saying. But what's really interesting is K4K saying it's not going to make any difference whether we're in a bull or a bear. And I hope I'm not putting words in his mouth, because, you know, he might push back on that. I think that's roughly what he's saying. You're saying best in the beginning of a bear, and I'm saying that's the worst time to launch. I'm saying top of the bull. I'm sure I'm right, but you're sure you're right. But what's fascinating to your viewers is that across the pond, we're so similar on so many things, like our all-time high prediction, like the fact that the Richard Hart's projects are amazing, and I'm all in, and the long-term investments. But everyone wants to know what they might make in 6 months and a year. And I'm saying, listen, guys, if you want to get rich, we want to be in a bull market. Now, we can't control whether we're in a bull market or not. But as everyone's asking me on my channel, on every episode and every super chat, what am I going to make in 6 months? I'm telling you, you're going to make like 20x if we're in a bear market, and you're going to make 200x if we're in a bull market. It's going to make a profound difference.
Yeah, if you have to experience the down leg of a bear market, then you're not gonna make the gains that you would have if you launched in the bottom of a bear market. So all these people, whether or not the bull market happens or the bear market happens in 1 month or 10 months, it doesn't matter where the top is. But if people are holding during that top, they're gonna get scared. I mean, they're gonna have to experience really, really heavy losses, and a lot of these people haven't experienced that before. You know, I'm just saying, I mean, it would be better if they didn't have to experience all that pain. Now, maybe it'll be a learning experience for a lot of people, and they will. And again, the whole decoupling thing might decorrelate this from things like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And that's a matter of whether or not we can onboard new users and innovate at a faster rate than Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing. I think it's pretty easily done, considering they've been stagnant in their innovation. But I just don't see how you can say like that launching at near the top is any better than launching near the bottom. And I'm not talking about launching like while prices are going down. I'm talking about launching at the bottom of a bear market. So the bottom of a bear market is the best time to launch, not the middle of a bear market, you know? And you're saying the top is the best time to launch, but then you're also saying not at the exact top, because there's still maybe 6 more months of run up. So I'm agreeing.
Yeah, we don't want to be in the last weeks. We don't want to be in the last weeks. When you say the bottom of a bear market,
the bottom, that means the peak capitulation. Like everybody is, sold.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I thought that's what you meant. You see, the problem. Yeah. Well, I can hear that you're not getting it, Crypto Coffee, but I've given some great analogies and examples and visual examples of why I think this is the case. But you see, what I'm saying is, I've said that where you're saying at the bottom at capitulation, I'm saying markets are behaviorally driven. And there, you've got no retail coming on. You've got no one like us coming in. Then you've only got some clever people like Michael Saylor that know that this is a long-term play, and Richard Hart's buying there, and people like that. But we're not going to. So, and then in those stages, you've got despair. That's the sentiment down where you're talking about despair.
Yeah, it's good. You want to buy when people are fearful and be
and then disbelief, and then disbelief. And what I'm saying to your viewers is, we're not going to get rich in despair and disbelief. And we don't want to be in those stages at all. So I'm saying, let's get them in towards the end of a bull market when we get to you.
There's going to be a stage of despair. There's going to be a time where shit hits the fan and people are going to be hurt. And whether that's 1 month or 12 months from now.
Yeah, but you just said earlier you didn't want them to suffer it, and you didn't want them to go in there because then they're going to feel so much pain. And I was going to come back with, well, they're going to have to feel the pain sooner or later, but hopefully they'll be watching channels like Crypto Coffee and they'll go, okay, I get this. This is a long-term play. So I took some money out anyway. I mean, ideally, right?
Well, I think we both warn people that 80% dips are in the game. I mean, Richard Hart says it all the time. I don't like seeing people lose all their money, but I mean, I'm just saying if it's inevitable sometimes, right? And PulseChain is probably going to launch whenever it's ready. It doesn't really, I don't think that there's some conspiracy of Richard Hart to just wait and delay it until he feels like Bitcoin's in the right place. I don't think he really cares. I think no. Yeah, I mean, that's one conspiracy I've heard, but I think as long as we can innovate at a faster rate than the market can catch up to, innovating faster than regulations, innovating faster than the macro conditions of the bull of Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think we're poised to not have to care so much about when Bitcoin or when PulseChain launches.
He'll launch when it's ready. Yeah, I've not heard that conspiracy theory, but that's he'll launch when it's ready. But again, let's use a real example today. I onboarded somebody into PulseX. He sacrificed $3,000 in Ethereum. Okay. I gave him some advice. I don't know if this is what you'd be telling your family and friends. You don't have to tell me what you'd be telling them. I didn't say, right, now you're in and you can't sell and you don't sell ever, blah, blah. I said, look, when you 3K turns into 10K, get your stake off, take that off the table. And then so this guy's going to get his profit back. And then when we go into the bear market in October, did you say? I think October's a good guess. So he's onboarded now. I'm saying if we're still in a bull market, he's going to get rich on his $3,000 between now and October. I'm going to remind him to have taken some profit a couple of times on the way. Then it's going to go down. It's going to crap its pants.
So you're going to tell people how to time the market.
It's all right. Just hold now. Just hold. You've got money out.
So it's okay because if people watch you, you'll be able to make the calls and tell them when to sell the exact top and when to get out. Whereas me, not knowing what's going to happen in the future and advertising long-term holding, long-term investing, that's why I have my position that I do, right? Because I'm not going to try to tell you to time the market. I mean, time in the market is better than timing the market every time. So correct. If you're holding on a multi-year time frame or months and years rather than days and weeks,
well, that's because you
have to be worried about the exact time that you got in.
I hope people are enjoying this debate, by the way, and please give, if you haven't subbed to Crypto Coffee, please give them a sub and give them a like. I'm certainly enjoying this debate. It's an amicable debate. We've got plenty of healthy disagreement here, and I think that's really good. There's no point us all sitting here just blowing bubbles and agreeing with each other on everything, right? So time in the market's better than money in the market. And the other, you know why time in the market's so good? It's because you can educate yourself. That's the time to educate yourself. And even better than time is education. And you have to hope that some of these people educate themselves. Then they realize that crypto's a cycle and that Richard Hart's cryptos are a long-term play. So what I'm saying is you get in now, you're going to make loads of money. Make sure you get your stake out. And hopefully, not having to listen to me or to somebody else, but hopefully they just work that out for themselves. They're going to take some money out. Then they're going to see their crypto go down terribly. They're going to have a little cry in the back garden. Then they're going to remember that actually they've taken out loads of money, so they're okay. Then they're going to hold on. They're going to forget about their MetaMask wallets. And they're going to look in a couple of years later, we're back into the next cycle or whatever, because there's a degree of decorrelation between Richard Hart's cryptos anyway in the market. And then they're going to be happy again.
Well, I don't think you can make everybody happy constantly. I mean, people are going to have to experience 80% dips, whether or not it's a bull market or bear market. HEX has had, 12 dips over 50%, I think, last time I checked. So, and every time you get people crying, you get people being really emotional because it's money, right? It's their hard-earned money. So it's going to happen, guys. The price you pay for the mad gains is extreme volatility. And you have to realize that we are in a bull market right now. We haven't experienced a macro 80% dip since 2017, right? We've experienced some big ones. But just get ready if it does happen. If it does happen, you should know that dips are in the game. And you should know that, if we get the opportunity to launch when Bitcoin's already blown off some steam, that just leaves us more upside potential and less pain to draw down everybody with the macro market. But again, like I've been repeating, the degree of insulation, right, that we can provide ourselves on PulseChain, the degree of the fiat on-ramps that we can build or the investment trust that we can build, the speed of all this innovation matters too. And it can protect us. It can pad us from the drops. So maybe instead of a 80% dip, we only get to experience 50, for example.
That's an interesting point. Just hold on a second.
Okay.
I'll be in 2 seconds.
What's up, chat? How we doing? Crypto 7 says 3,000 to 10,000 is a 3x. Yeah, that's right.
How's it going?
Going well.
How's chat going?
Well. You didn't miss anything. Just reading some comments here.
So I hope I haven't come across as like argumentative or anything else. I just thought, hey, there's some interesting because we can't all be right.
Yeah,
we can't all be right.
But I'm still not, convinced. I still think that, if you're a short-term trader and you're trying to time the market before the peak, the top might not be in, or it might be, it might not be. And if by some chance you get lucky and it's not, and you're trying to make a quick 1, 2, 3x in the next 6 months, good for you. But if you're going to be a long-term investor, you should just be prepared for a bear market to come. Again, some padding to hopefully be provided via the decorrelation effect of HEX and PulseChain. But again, also, if PulseChain somehow luckily is delayed until a lot of steam blows off in the market, that'd be a good thing. The closer to the bottom of a bear market we can launch, the better it is for everybody. That's just as simple as that. I mean, HEX did it in 2019. HEX was able to capture massive price rises. If HEX launched in 2017, what would have happened in December 2017? It would have had months and months of downside because the 2018 bear market took about a year to reach an actual bottom, right? And whether or not you want to say they're totally decorrelated, the decorrelation is not zero, right? It's something. It might be lower. HEX and PulseChain might be lower correlation to the Bitcoin and Ethereum, but it is not zero.
Yeah, I very much agree with that. In fact, I've seen some instances recently where you can see the correlation. Now HEX launched in a bull market, yeah?
Well, it depends what you want to define that for. The
bottom was
3K.
The bottom was 3K. We got 3K twice, and then HEX launched in 7K, which was a bull market. And the only reason
it had a couple of months of run up, but then it still had much more to go. I mean, we can't launch at the exact bottom, right? But we were near the bottom, basically, and now we're near the top. So
you're the other side of it. Whereas you're saying the best time to launch PulseX is at the start of a bear market, and I'm saying that's the worst time. You were actually in a bull market when you launched HEX. I agree that there's some decorrelation between HEX and Bitcoin compared to something like Ethereum versus Bitcoin, but I'm not sure that we're as decorrelated as we think.
Dude, we launched HEX, and then 2 months later, the COVID dip happened, and Bitcoin went to 3,800. I mean, that was almost the bottom again. We had a false start to the previous bull market, or maybe that was the real start. I guess it depends. It's up to interpretation. But from the 3,000 lows, we had a fake run up to about 10,000, 12,000. Everybody thought, it's all blue skies from here, and then we had the COVID dip, right? And so it shook everybody out again. So, I mean, it depends where you want to put your starting marker, but, obviously it wasn't the exact bottom, but it was in around the bottom.
I think it was in the bull market because it was very temporary and we got back very quickly. It was only May. It was only May that it went down.
It was closer to the bottom than we are to the top now.
How about this? If people think I'm right, put 1. If people think Crypto Coffee's right, put 2. Well, I think you've got your audience, haven't you? So I've really asked for it there.
I'm
Number
on my
2.
home turf. Yeah. Home field
Yeah,
advantage.
UK. Shout out to UK viewers. Number 2.
Yeah. Feel free to download this and put it on your channel, by the way. It's no big deal.
So thanks, man. Yeah. So I'm saying maybe you could send me a file. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that. So I'm saying that towards the end of a bull market, you actually get 80% of the new people. And if we get them all introduced to PulseX, when people's pockets are stuffed with dollars, they're going to buy more PulseX. Some of them are going to go crying in the back garden. They're going to leave crypto. But as you correctly said, Crypto Coffee, that's going to happen sometime sooner or later anyway. We just have to hope that through excellent videos like yours, we will educate them. They'll stay around, and that then they will then experience the next bull market. But but PulseX will have created a foothold in the market in that time.
Yeah, I hope so. And maybe we're going to agree to disagree on the peak of the bull versus peak of the bear. But if I could leave the people with anything, it's this. It's time in the market beats timing the market. Long-term holders always beat short-term traders, and dips are in the game, guys. Dips are in the game. And so given that we haven't reached the peak yet, if PulseChain launches before that, you better be ready to put your big boy pants on and hold on for an 80% dip, because once you've done that, you kind of understand the crypto game. If you could hold through that pain, then you'll be all right.
Totally
agree. Take a wake-up call.
Totally agree with all of that, Crypto Copy. That's very wise. I totally agree with everything you just said there. And I would just add to that, if I could, a little footnote, if you wouldn't mind, I would just say, and if you remember to take some nice healthy profit on these mad PulseX gains that we're going to get in the next 6 months, you can use some of those £50 notes or $50 bills to wipe the tears when we get to this crash. Okay.
All right, man. Cool.
I really enjoyed this.
Thanks for coming, everybody. We'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for coming, Crypto7.
And please remember to subscribe to my channel, Crypto7. I'm a live channel anyway, so if you can hit the notification bell, that would be awesome.
Yeah, link in the description below. Go like and subscribe.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, no problem. Peace out, guys.